Just make sure I think my phones are turned off, but if they ring, they're going to ring. So, all right. Good morning, everyone. I want to call the Skagit Transit Board of Directors meeting for January 18, 2023 to order. The time is now 11 a.m. Would you please stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. I'm Mayor Jill Boudreau, the chair of Skagit Transit, and I'm going to ask Whitney to help call the roll of our board members. Go ahead, Whitney.
Commissioner Janicki.
I'm here.
Commissioner Wiesen. Commissioner Browning. Mayor Boudreau.
Here.
Mayor Miller.
Here.
Mayor Sexton.
Here.
Mayor Johnson.
Here.
Councilperson Holst. Councilperson Aslett. Our CAC Chair Judy Jones.
Here.
And our labor representative Jose Reeves.
All right, thank you. And thank you for those that are joining us online as well. So item number 4 is our public comment. So I do know we have some guests here in person, so I'm going to ask for that public comment first. Feel free to step to the podium. If you don't mind stating your name, that would be great. All right.
Well, good morning. Thank you very much. Chris Kamek, Chief of Police with Mount Vernon Police Department. With me today is Lieutenant David Shackleton. I just appreciate an opportunity. We understand there's a rumor that Dale might be trying to retire from the system of public transit. And on behalf of the city and certainly the police department, we just want to take a moment to recognize you and thank you. Over the years, my apologies. Over the years, we've had, countless needs that come up, a lot of them around training and things like that. And SCAT and through Dale's leadership has always afforded us the ability to use equipment, use facilities. We've had an office site down there that we can work from. A lot of times we get public events down around the court campuses that are there that we coordinate with, and the list is endless. And sometimes we shoot an email or remember to say thanks, but we don't always. And so we're here today, and we'd just like to present Dale with this plaque that says, in grateful appreciation of your dedication and support to the Mount Vernon Police Department and the citizens of Mount Vernon. And we're very grateful for what you've done and congratulate you in your retirement. So thank you.
All right, thank you, Chief and Lieutenant Shackleton. All right, any other public comment from here in the audience? All right, seeing none, anything online? Any public comment online? Okay. Oh, someone raised their hand with the 208 area code phone number. If you could go ahead and state your name and comments about 3 minutes or so.
This is Chris Jones. I just wanted to take a moment and again appreciate Skagit Transit, paratransit services. I know this is a continuous comment, but I just want you all to know that a lot of us really, really appreciate the service. It's not just a, just an every once in a while thing. For Judy and I, certainly, I can tell you it's most of how we get around. And I just wanted to really appreciate the whole agency. You all have been fabulous. Thank you so much.
Great. Thank you very much. You can't have too many compliments to be motivating. So thank you for that encouragement. All right. Seeing none, we'll go ahead and close public comment. As the chair, I would ask the board if we could move the executive session up. If you don't mind, maybe we'll do consent agenda first and then move executive session into item 6. there's no objection, we're going to go ahead and make that change. So next up is consent agenda action items, items A and B. This is the approval of the December meeting minutes, approves of claims and payroll.
Madam Chair, this is Julia from Julie, and I make a motion to approve consent agenda items A and B.
Thank you. Is there a second?
This is Mayor Sexton. I second that.
Thank you so much. There's a motion and a second. All those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
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 Any opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Thank you. All right, we'll go ahead and call for our executive session. So at this point, I'd like to call the board into an executive session for approximately 20 minutes. This is per RCW 42.30.110 to consider qualifications of an applicant for public employment. And just a reminder that information obtained in executive session is confidential. Further, we may only discuss this executive session, the subject that was specified when the executive session was announced. During the course of our discussion, we may not take a collective position or an actual vote. That would be a violation of the Open Public Meetings Act and could render any board action void and subject any violated to personal liability. So with that, we're going to go ahead and adjourn into an executive session at 11:07. Anticipate coming out at 11:27. If there's an extension required, we will make a public announcement at that time. So now we'll move into the logistics of this. We'll ask folks here in person to go ahead and depart if you're not party to the executive session. And those online, I'm going to leave it to Chris to figure that out for us. All right, great. We'll be putting in a waiting room. So. Okay. We're going to wait for just a minute, get everyone back in online. That looks pretty complete, I think. Does that look complete for people that may have been on before?
Looks like it's got more than.
Okay, we're going to go ahead and just reconvene back out of executive session into open session. It's 11:42. We're going to go back to full discussion action items. So first up is going to be the monthly budget update report for December. And I believe Chris is going to take this one for us.
Good morning. So I have the budget update for December of 2022. It's a good
Get
look.
really
at-
close. Yeah, thank you.
It's a good look at the entire year of 2022, and it'll give you a good picture of what we're looking at. So with respects to sales tax, Skagit Transit received $1,420,986 in sales tax revenue for the month of December. This is 28% higher than what we collected in 2021 as a year total and 27% higher than in 2020. We collected a total for the year $16,611,527 in sales tax. It's important to note that sales tax revenue covered 93% of the agency's total actual operating expenses of $17.8 million. It was budgeted to cover 80%. The total number of federal operating grant revenues that we received for the year is $8,446,232. 7% of our agency's operating expenses are dependent on grants currently with respects to the sales tax collections. That equates to $1,250,000. When you add fair revenue in, we collected $666,174 in fair revenue for the year. It was $40,911 for the month of December. When you average in the fair revenue, it takes our grant dependencies from 7% down to 3.3%. So the agency as a whole, considering sales tax collections and fair revenue collections, we were $590,000 grant dependent for the year in 2022. I hope 2023 looks as good. 2022 federal capital grant revenue that we received is $641,964. Our capital, does anyone have any questions so far with respects to revenues and our total operating expenses for the year?
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Our capital expenses, our MOA2 construction management costs for December were $14,138. Our total fuel consumption for 2022 was $1,391,442, or $115,950 per month is the average fuel bill for Skagit Transit in 2022. Our salary and benefits combined are $486,536 under budget. All other expenses are to be expected. Our cash balance at the end of December of 2022, $5,906,469. Our reserves, or our bottom line investments, total $21,206,775. So to total those, our cash and investments total at the end of December of 2022, $27,113,244. MOA2, a construction finance update. They are finishing up the new roof and the flashing that goes around the roof. I believe there's at least a week and a half to 2 weeks left on that project. We've paid HB Hansen to date $2,448,040. The project percent completion is 40%. Staff recommends the board approve the monthly budget update.
All right, any questions about the budget update? I will just throw in there that Commissioner Janicki and I met with some staff, Dale and Chris, kind of talked over where we were at with the construction project. We're setting up a meeting on site to just sort of review, and my intent as board chair is give us a clear path to completion that we can be very transparent with the board about. I'm also bringing in kind of an outside staff member from OAC. They specialize in sort of getting things, looking at things kind of forensically, getting things back on track. And they're happy to come and, for free, give a little, at least interpret from me as the board chair with just enough information on that stuff to be dangerous. But so we will hopefully have a plan at our next board meeting to present regarding the MOA. But back to the budget update report. There's no questions. I'd entertain a motion to adopt the update for.
I have one kind of question comment. Chris, I should have asked you this before. The percent of, so I'm used to your percent of completion determines how much you can borrow off your construction loan. So I'm always in the, how do I look this from a bank perspective? But if I was only 40% done on a $4.4 million change order contract, I wouldn't have had already paid out almost 2.5 to the contractor. But I'm guessing that 40% calculation is done on the original contract and not with that roofing change order in there. So probably 40% of the original contract plus the roof.
Yes, I believe that is correct. Commissioner Janicki, thank you.
Okay. Yeah, just a note, because that usually drives how much you should have paid the contractor as your percent completion against contract. But I move to approve the monthly budget report as presented.
I'll second it.
Thank you. Motion by Lisa, second by Julia. All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Any opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Thank you. On to item B, which is the approved resolution 2023-01, authorizing participation in Department of Revenue Systems and Deferred Compensation Program. Jennifer.
Thank you, Madam Chair. On August 17th, 2022, the board approved resolution 22-09, which approves transitioning to the Washington State Department Retirement Systems Program. On January 1, Skagit Transit became a participating member in the Washington State Public Employees Retirement System. Skagit Transit would like to offer its employees the opportunity to enroll in the Department of Retirement Systems Deferred Compensation Program. This is a tax-deferred DCP 457 plan administered by DRS. The DCP lowers taxable income while working, and it delays payments of income taxes on your investments until an employee withdraws funds. DCP is a great opportunity for employees to save additionally for retirement. The Skagit Transit Board of Directors must approve a resolution to authorize Skagit Transit's participation in the DCP. Staff recommends the board approve resolution 2023-01 for the adoption of the Washington State Department of Retirement Systems DRS enrollment into the Washington State Public Employees Retirement System Deferred Compensation Plan to become effective March 1 of 2023.
All right, questions for Jennifer on this particular item? Okay, and just to be, I guess, clear for the public, this is not a matching program. It's simply a great benefit for employees to participate in.
Correct. There is no impact to our budget.
Thank
Thank
you. Would the board like to take action today?
Madam Chair, if there is no discussion, I'd like to make a motion to approve resolution 2023-1 authorizing participation in the Department of Retirement System Deferred Compensation Program.
Right, thank you.
Mayor Sexton, I'll second that.
Thank you. Motion and a second. All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Any opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Thank you. On a side note, Jennifer, do you know, is there a Roth version? Just curious.
DRS has let us know that they will be rolling that out in December of this
Ooh,
year. Yes, so I'll be back for a ask on that as well.
Perfect, thank you. All right, item 6C is approval of a free fair day for point in time count and stand up and be counted day. And I have Brad's at the end. Brad Windler, go ahead.
The Point in Time Count Survey Day is a one-day event that aims to engage the local community and build sustainable partnerships to help end homelessness and collect information on at 5 Skagit County cities. Free services will be provided by local nonprofits, businesses, and volunteers. The event will take place on Thursday, January 26th, 2023. Event organizers have asked if Skagit Transit will continue support of the event by operating fare free on January 26th. Stand Up and Be Counted in the past offered 946 individuals from 333 households the opportunity to connect with social and medical services. Fare-free transit service removes transportation as a barrier to accessing this event. The recommendation from staff is the staff recommends operating local routes fare-free on January 26th in support of the Point in Time Count and Stand Up and Be Counted event. The budget impact, there will be no budget impact. One day's revenue is approximately $600 cash, not counting monthly passes.
Okay, questions for Brad on this item? Okay, if none, I'd entertain a motion to move this item forward.
This is Mayor Sexton. I make a motion to approve the fare-free day for the point in time counts and stand up and be counted day.
Thank you.
Mayor Julia, I second that.
Second.
Thank you. Motion by Steve, second by Julia. All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Any opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Thank you. All right, we do have one item that staff has asked us to add to our agenda. It's the purchase of 7 van pool replacements revision. So I think I need a motion by the board to add this agenda item for today. Is there a desire to do that by the board?
I'll make a motion to add the agenda item.
Thank you. Second by, okay, motion by Steve and a second by Julia. All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Thank you. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. So this is again, the purchase of 7 van pool replacements revision. And is Brad presenting? Or is, all right, cool. Oh, Chris, okay. Go ahead, Chris.
It's okay. On October 19th, 2022, the board approved the purchase of 7 passenger Chrysler Pacifica vans using the Washington State Department of Enterprise Services contract. The contract number 5916 for motor vehicles to purchase from North Sound, Duane Lane, and Everett, Washington. The vans were put on order October 25th, 2022. Due to limited production allocation, our order was canceled December 1st, 2022 by the manufacturer. We were notified by North Sound, Duane Lane that there was an opportunity to purchase 7 Chrysler Pacifica Touring L, which are an upgraded trim package, for an additional $3,865 each, increasing the total by $30,713 after taxes. Staff recommends, well, the budgetary impact, the cost for 7 passenger vans, the total price is $344,000.61. Grants would cover $216,000 of this. So local funds needed $128,713. Staff recommends to approve the purchase of 7 replacement 7-passenger Chrysler Pacifica Touring L vans through the Washington State Department of Enterprise Services contract 5916 for motor vehicles. We would take delivery in Burlington, so the sales tax would be paid locally, 8.6%. The sales tax is $27,192.
Okay, questions for Chris on this?
That's the whole sales tax. That's not our,
I
that's
have
not
a question.
Burlington's amount.
Go ahead, Lisa.
Well, good delivery on where that sales tax goes. The question that I had is slipping my mind. Oh, the van pool program generally is a cost recovery system, and rates are based to recoup cost. Is that still largely true with these more expensive vans? Do rates change, or how do we account for it to the users? They're going to fight over the new ones.
Commissioner Janicki, that's a great question. I know that we try to recover the costs through the van pool. I don't know the exact percentage and how that would change with this increase in cost, but I certainly can get you that information and email everyone.
I support the project. We can talk about how that van pool program works at a future meeting. It would be good for a refresher for all of us anyway, but
Chair, I have
you want
a-
to, right? Go ahead.
Go ahead, Steve.
So do we know, obviously these vans aren't available through the original purchase. We don't know when they will become available or plan to become available into the future.
We do not. We have looked high and low for these vans. We've searched for them. We're having problems even finding a shop truck that we put on order. It's canceled as well. So we're just having an overall difficulty finding the vehicles from the manufacturer. And so what I asked our contracts and procurement person to do is to search the locally and go through the manufacturer and do a nationwide search. And this turned up 7 vans, although they have an upgraded trim package. It's my understanding that they also have 360-degree cameras inside. That's what comes stock with this, and pleather interior. So, which is different than the standard interior that they would otherwise come with, but it comes with a configuration that works. We also have explored the possibility of going with a different manufacturer, a different type of van. And the feedback that we've received with respects to people getting in and out of the vans due to the size of the vans and the layout of them and getting into the very back seat, this meets the agency's requirements or expectations to the customer best. It's the best fit. Yeah. Considering the options and the prices that are out there, and we're trying to live within the means of state contract. This doesn't guarantee that we'll get them, but we're trying to explore every opportunity and get in there and solve our shortage.
Yeah, and the shortage across the board is it's there. I mean, try buying an ambulance. They're almost 2 years out right now, and challenging, very challenging to do. My point is, even though it's a $30,000 budget impact, which we originally didn't plan on, I think we had to think about is 7 vans in a year and a half that might be more than a $30,000 increase in cost also per van. I mean, for the total of all 7. So that doesn't really, I mean, it might be a wash when you really look at it in the long term as well.
I agree.
And the pleather will be awesome.
Vegan,
That we
vegan,
roll in Skagit County.
vegan pleather, please. So I'm just kidding. Okay. Um, So we do need a motion and we need action on this then. So I will go back to the board. They'd like to take action today.
I move to approve the recommendation outlined by Chris for the purchase of these vans, the vans for Vanpro.
Thank you.
And I'll second that.
Thank you. So motion by Lisa, second by Julia. All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Any opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Thank you. All right, that concludes our action items. So we're going to move on to our Community Advisory Committee report, and the CAC minutes were attached to your board packet, I do believe. All right, I'll ask Judy if there's anything she'd like to point out in those minutes. Judy?
Okay, yes, thank you very much. First of all, I'd just like to let you know that we are actively recruiting for members for our CAC. We have some additional slots. So I'd like to ask you all to please help us by spreading the word in your communities. That would be great. Transit's done a great job of managing route adjustments, as was reported to us, by using additional buses with minimal driver changes and the use of head signs. And a head sign, of course, is when a bus changes sign at a particular layover, it changes number to be able to accommodate that particular route number. So, I mean, they've been really creative and we're happy about that. The committee is really active. We've had in December, we had an event at the library in La Conner with Cheryl and Louise. Had a great turnout in spite of the weather. We're getting a new CAC applicant out of it, yay. And we have been asked to come back for an after-school event, hopefully to host a ride the bus experience for the kids. In this month, there have been enough members to have for Skagit Transit to host 2 what we call scenario training. And CAC members will take part in those in order to staff a table now that we're going to be having January the 24th, and then one on January 31st at Skagit Station from 9 to noon. We'll be working in conjunction with customer service to just answer some basic questions by travelers and also hopefully to recruit some more members for CAC. So then a member of our Region Awareness Committee reported observing an ADX driver training a new hire, said the driver did a stellar job, was really professional. And so our next meeting, folks, is February 14th. Please feel free to join us. There's Zoom information at the end of the report.
All right, thank you. Any questions for Judy? Okay, thank you, Judy. Moving on, since we had our exec session already, we're going to go into information items. First up is the WashDOT grants update, and that's why Brad is standing where he's standing. So go ahead, Brad.
Thank you, Madam Chair. In October of last year, staff submitted several grant applications to Washington's DOT's Consolidated Grant Program in support of our ongoing operations. And I just wanted to have a quick reference of those, because once they go through the state DOT process, they then go to our legislators for approval by the state legislature. So you may get questions on these. The Consolidated Grant Program takes applications every 2 years. Every cycle, there is a change to the criteria and the funding. Staff reviews the current version of the grant programs. We then look at our approved plans, what are our ongoing projects and needs to develop our grant applications. The plans we reference are our annual transit development plan, our 2018 strategic plan, and then the human services plan put together by the Skagit Council of Governments. Many of the board members are also on that board of directors as well. All of these plans include a public outreach process. So those are the plans we reference. In previous cycles. We have done a number of grant applications. We've done a lot of operating grants, and really post I-695, our recovery from that has been really grant dependent. Most of our service expansions have been funded with grants. And our current outreach position started with a grant to get that position going. Capital grants have
Brett, sorry,
been.
Brett, just a second. Can you explain to the board the I-695?
Yes, back in 1998, there was a citizens initiative, I-695, that reduced the amount of money collected by tabs and tab renewals. A lot of that car tab money was going to fund transit, and it resulted in about a 50% loss of revenue to transit agencies across the state. As an outcome of that, Skagit Transit, like many other agencies, did a lot of service cuts, really trimmed service, and it took about 10 years or so, 10 to 12 years before we really got back to that same service level. And a lot of that recovery, like we didn't have evening service, and that was something that we applied for a grant for in the early 2000s. We got that money, and that helped us relaunch service after 6 p.m. So all of these expansions happened using these operating grants through the consolidated grant program to recover from the loss of the 695 money.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Capital grants have funded a lot of coaches for the county connector service, our paratransit vehicles. We've gotten a lot of bus shelters and a number of our ADA upgrades that have happened at bus stops throughout time have come through various grants that we have submitted to the state. Right now, we have 5 applications in. There's a capital grant application, 2 for operating and 2 for planning, and I'll get into those details. The 2 planning grant applications, one is for a community engagement coordinator who will conduct outreach with migrant workers and their families. The priority being the segments of our population that do not speak English or do not speak it well. And they'll build our partnerships with community groups that concentrate on these residents. We are also engaged in a 3-county project with Whatcom Transportation Authority and Island Transit on a Northwest Washington regional transit study. This is part of the North Sound Transportation Alliance that we are a part of. Those 2 transit agencies are giving us money to help with a local match, but we will be the project lead on this. And the goal of this is to estimate employment and growth in our region over the next 20 years. How do we need to change our county connector network for all 3 agencies, given all that growth that's going to happen? And then also down in Snohomish County, we have bus rapid transit projects that'll be extending up as far north as Smoky Point, as well as being a lot of that in Everett. And then the light rail systems that are being developed. How should we interact with that? What is the demand to interact with that? So we will have a consultant-led study that this grant would pay for. Our operating grant applications are very similar. We're asking for money to increase frequency. One is for Eastern Skagit County. This is our Flex Route 717 that operates in concrete, started in 2021 with a grant. Operating grants, you're allowed to ask for 4 years of funding, and this grant application would cover years 3 and 4. So it would be the continuation of that. It pays for 50% of our operating expense in the concrete area. And this was a change that was called for in our 2018 strategic plan. In Western Skagit County, we are looking to improve the frequency of our routes 513 and 615 that currently operate every 3 hours. These routes were selected for improvement in our 2018 strategic plan. It was also a part of our most recent transit development plan. And this has been caused by a lot of development out there, such as the growth of housing coming to the Diwali Clinic, employment growth around the airport, including the Amazon facility. And something else that boosts this chance this year is the Moving Ahead Washington legislation that was passed in the prior legislative session has a set aside of 10% for transit service that happens to tribal areas. And our last application that we put in this year is for 5 replacement coaches for local service. This replaces a number of coaches that are reaching the end of their useful life, and like everything else, vehicle wise, you were talking about, Mayor Sexton was talking about buying ambulances and being almost 2 years out. And we know that quite well. It's estimated to be a 17-month delivery time for these vehicles once we get them ordered. So we will order them hopefully later this year and receive them in the first half of 25. Some exciting things that will be happening this year is future priorities. So 2023 will see us write a new strategic plan. This adjusts our priorities. It lays out guidance from the board to staff for how you would like us to prioritize service improvements over the next few years. There's a robust public process in this. The last time we did it in 2018, we had 9 outreach meetings at various times, various locations through the county, and it really helped us improve ridership. And then the grant program, or the grant application that we put in for the regional transit study, that's going to help us come to the board with some recommendations from the consultants to improve our regional connections, to talk with the board about what you would like to see us set as priorities as we prepare for the future of the agency. So this would also improve our regional mobility. And these 2 things are really important. So this is a page out of our 2018 strategic plan priority list. And what we created in the last one and what we're looking to create in this one is, this was how did we rank things and changes that we wanted to see in our system. And over the last few years, we have done a very good job of going through this list and trying to get these items into action. In fact, one of them, item number 8, is one of the projects that we asked for a grant application for. So we really look forward to working with the board as we get the public feedback and developing what the 2023 plan will look like, because over the next few years, staff will do the same thing with this next plan. The priorities that you guys lay out will be what guides us for our service improvements. And with that, I yield to your questions.
Questions for Brad on the presentation? I can't. Oh, go ahead, Steve. I can't see the Zoom screen yet. So
Brad, this is kind of timely, and because at our Transportation Policy Board, we were asked to take action on some of these grant applications. And I think speaking for myself as a member of both boards, I was I wasn't aware of some of these grant applications that were going out there.
Okay.
And I don't think the board was. And, some of them were, community engagement coordinator position. I don't know if you touched on that while I stepped away or not.
I did. So that position is going to be prioritizing our outreach to migrant workers and their families. It's going to specifically work with the core community groups that work with that segment of the population, and that we're really targeting the segment of the population that do not speak English or do not speak it well. So while that's certainly migrants, it's workers that may be coming in to work the agricultural community. It's not just them as well.
Okay. That's good to hear. So yeah, it was just a little confusing. I get caught in some of these things when we're applying for these grants to add a position, which the grants run out over a period of time, as you say, and then we're on the hook for these salaries or eliminating that position. And it's tough for me to say we should be on it for a grant to add this position when we're spending over $1 million in increasing payroll for this year and things like that. I'm a little torn by that sometimes. So I think the more communication we have prior to grant applications might be beneficial also. So
Can do.
any questions from those on Zoom?
Yeah, just I really appreciate it tying it back to strategic planning. That I have to tell you, I mean, being on so many boards, I sometimes lose track of where we are. And I remember sitting in Anacortes working on strategic plan, but I couldn't have put a date on it if you'd asked me. And so I think what Mayor Sexton is really bringing up is just this process piece of how do we keep the board moving along and in order so that we're not surprised at a transportation policy board meeting. But also I think that we as board members can own bragging rights about some of the good things that have been done across that, against that strategic plan. So maybe some, as we go through this process again, you know, having regular updates back to the board of not just what we're doing, but how it matches up with the strategic plan would be helpful for me. It's a little bit of a scorecard in a place and time. And I know we're going to have a new director, hopefully sometime soon, that she'll, or the new director will have strong opinion. But I just, it's the time to kind of re-engage the board, new strategic plan, and keeping us up to date, because I need all the breadcrumbs I can, that you guys can lay down for me to follow the path sometimes with our ADHD meeting schedule every week, every day.
Okay, thank you. Okay, Brad, thanks for that update. I think it's important, and just echoing comments with the new director sitting down, talking about new strategic plan in 2023. Definitely bring all of our concerns to the board, to those meetings, and go from there. So, all right, thank you. Also, just information in your packet is the December ridership report. I have some questions on that, but I'll meet with staff on doing a little bit better visually and presenting that, but we'll do that offline. So, Chris.
I just have a quick answer to Commissioner Janicki's question with respects to Van Pool. I happen to have a report in front of me that shows me what the revenue and expenses were for the year for Van Pool. And we gained $80,258 in Van Pool. Our revenues were $277,820 for Van Pool fare collections, and expenses for the year was $197,562. So in 1 year, we profited, we put into reserves $80,258. The 7 vans that we wish to purchase, the local funds are $128,713. So we were shy of covering that by $48,455 just for 1 year's collections, if that makes sense. Does that help give you the information you need?
Yeah, so I think generally we're trying to cover O&M on the Van Pool. It was a little bit more profitable, so there's something that's going towards capital, but capital is going to be covered by grants.
Those
Right.
expenses include salaries, benefits, $116,000 in fuel, oil, and cellular phone and insurance. Yeah, so it's all of our Van Pool expenses.
Yeah, current expenses, not capital recovery. Got it. Thank you.
Welcome.
Okay. All right, that completes our scheduled agenda items. I would like to share with the board that I got a message from Gary from Profman, and there is a verbal agreement with the new executive director. I believe things when they're signed, but just FYI, one more step in that process, and I'll give as much information as I can as we work through that. So, okay. With that, then we're going to stand adjourned at 12:18.